Okay, so this is the HD350, which is the same as the RS10 from what I can gather. I don't know if the service manual for the HD550 is the same as the 350, because I couldn't find the 350. I used the 550 one, and the assembly is pretty close. I won't be able to get through a lot of different of the screws and stuff because I'm way past that now, but I kind of guessed. I'm an electronics engineering tech, so I work in the aerospace sector. I kind of have an idea how things are supposed to be, but that's not a given. There's quite a few connectors that need to be unlatched, some ground points, chassis grounds. I didn't have to take off the front cover yet, and I didn't have to take any screws out here, I don't think. No, it's just there's 3 on the top to get the optical engine loose enough that you can prop it up with something to be able to get at the side hatch. Now that side hatch contains a blower fan assembly, and I, not knowing the assembly very well, and the drawing didn't show it, but there's 2 pieces of this. There's this manifold that goes on top of the fan, something like so, and then these 4 points bolt onto here. Now likely if you don't need to clean the fan, while it was apart, I cleaned the fan because it's full of cigarette smoke. The guy that had it before me smoked like a bastard, so there's quite a lot of debris. You know, the optical engine photos, I took pictures of the whole optical Prism input here, the primary stage, and it was like full of dirt and dust and cigarette smoke, because it's not a sealed light engine. It seemed like that this blower fan has a little venturi. This little part blows air in between the 2 primary prisms, it seems like. I still haven't figured out exactly how that's supposed to mount. I think it goes like this, but I'm gonna try to find photos because it flopped out when I took off the blower fan block. This fell out of here and give access to the internals where you can gently clean inside there. And what you want to do, from what I gathered, is that you want to get behind the first one, then in front of the second one, or sorry, fuck, what am I doing here? So there's the first lens, if I can find my tweezers. I can find my tweezers, which I can't obviously, but the first lens is here and it slides out. I've already put it back in, but that one slides out. It has no adhesive here and here. These ones all have adhesive, high strength and high temperature adhesive. I didn't want to risk breaking that adhesive to get the prisms out, and then you have to figure out what you're going to replace it with. And you can't use stuff like super glue because it bleeds off chemicals with the heat and it will distort the lens. So you can try it yourself, but there's adhesives that will off gas and cause even bigger problems later. So that's why they decided to use this like ceramic type. I don't know what exactly it is. It's some strange adhesive that they didn't want these to be removed for whatever reason, but they allow the first one to be removed. That's serviceable, so you can take that guy out. And that one, you gently clean it with lens wipes, slide it back in. And goes with these two. These two are much more trickier, especially in between here and behind this last piece. That's very tricky. I use Q-tips and And I tried to get a lens wipe in there as well, combination of the two. I don't know how good a job it did, but it's much better than it was before. So I was somewhat successful doing this. I took an afternoon to do this. It took a long time. You can see the optical engine, or the optical block, is all like just flopping around in here because there's 3 screws that mount the main chassis. There's an aluminum chassis under a cradle down here that bolts to the bottom metal work and the plastic housing. So you have to realign it and make sure that you get this over top the lens, this little cover. You have to make sure it flops into place on the bottom, which is the hardest place to see. Kind of very tricky. Be very gentle around these areas. There's wires that connect the motor. I don't know if I can show it here. This motor down here, there's a lot of stress on that wire that connects over here. If you really were brave, you could try to disconnect it. It's very cumbersome to get in there. I didn't want to risk it, so I just left it and propped it up enough that I can get serviceability to the left side of it, and be able to have enough place to work. So I hope you guys get something out of this. I know the original tutorial to do this by Zotar, or whatever his name is, there on AV forums. The pictures are up and taken down, or they're broken images. So he has a description which helped me out. His description was pretty good, but still, the photos really are important for when you've never done a job before. It's very helpful to see the photos before you get balls deep in this stuff. I've never had a projector of this quality taken apart. But as I said, I work with microelectronics, so I actually do the rework of the circuit boards. And a lot of these are shielded by all sorts of aluminum. So even if you had to do work on the lamp ballast is here. It's in the manifold, the air intake output manifold. It's cooled very well in this manifold. Very good design, in my opinion, keeping the lamp ballast in there where it's constantly in a venturi of airflow. But if you had to do work on any of the other points, there's some other boards stacked up in here. It's a big job. That's why it costs so much to service these things. And usually if you're just doing a lamp ballast, it's probably worth it. But the lamp engine and the optical block, that shit's very, very tedious. And plus you got to go through the alignment procedure too. And God knows how that will work. Trying to find the software and all the, getting things that you need to do that. Someone else with more experience with these products probably will chime me in, but I just wanted to share a crash course in how I solve some problems within the unit. It's optical. The light path is fairly serviceable. They could have made it easier. I don't know why they didn't make the hatch up here. There seems to be a lot of room. Service the lenses from the top instead of the sides, so you don't have to freaking remove everything. But anyways, that's another. I had made a few comments to engineers at work about how they made these things so damn complicated to get at. Just to service this is like an afternoon job. So, and if you don't know really what you're doing, you probably shouldn't even attempt to take it apart, because there's a lot of screws. There's some screws here, there's panels you got to take off. You got to take off a lot of parts. You got to take off the whole air duct, the intake, exhaust manifold, the fans. You got to make sure you put the fans back in an orientation that's the same as before, so they're blowing the same direction. They're polarized fans, so you happen to put one backwards, you're going to create an airlock and you're going to have big problems. I don't know if it'll be bad if you suck the air in the opposite direction. Likely so. I'm not sure on how the actual airflow is. It seems to come in through here, blow out through here, and that's the exhaust. Now I could be wrong. I've never used this thing. I got it on the marketplace and had to service it before I decided to use it, but the guy just said, oh, it just needs a lamp. When the new lamp wasn't very bright, so I found that this was all clogged up with dirt. But going back to this, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the air intake comes in here. Cold air comes in here and then slowly goes this way and then out the front. The exhaust is out the front, though it could be the opposite way. You'd think you'd want the coldest air on your prisms, but I'm not exactly sure what they're doing yet. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope the photos here can shine light into places that were once an unknown for someone that's never done the job before. I think after you service these things properly, they're good for at least 1 or 2 more lamp cycles, which is what, 4,000 hours or so. And I've heard after you clean them up, you can run them on low light mode and maybe get 3,000 hours per lamp out of them. Though I'd still probably change them at 2,500 if you could, so you don't have any lights exploding, because as soon as the lights explode, you're gonna damage this and you're gonna suck up all sorts of shit into the optical blocks. So yeah, you don't want that to happen. You don't want any damage to this part, because this part, even if you can find parts, they're very expensive. Like one guy, they said his cost like $2,000-$3,000 just to service this. So anyways, I won't touch that, but I hope this helps. And if you have questions, you can ask, but I'm hoping that this is the last time I gotta take the damn thing apart, so I can at least use it for the winter. Maybe if I even get 1 lamp out of it, I'm gonna be good, because I got it for 80 bucks. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting to see if I can get it back together properly again.